we take a look at the lineups? In fact, could we take a look at the graphics? Thank you. Just keep running. Just keep running them. Good. Good. Okay. Good. Okay. Yes, sir. What's that? Who? I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that, David. No, who is not suiting up? Oh, Newsom. Okay. I got you. Okay, you got other graphics? Good. Nice. Let's keep punching them through. That's fine. Okay. Okay. Great. That's a great stat. Great stat when they get in that 20. That's terrific. Good. Sid Gilman. Maybe 1L and Gilman. We're going to check, guys. Okay. What's that? '86 was not a good year for Tom Landry and the Dallas Cowboys. After blasting out of the blocks, America's team came crumbling down. The frustration flowed from the field into the stands, and 1987 doesn't look much better. Preseason injuries have hurt the Cowboys' depth, but not their fighting spirit. Last year, Neil Lomax and the St. Louis Cardinals experienced nothing but disappointment. They finished last in the NFC East, dropping out of contention early. But now the Cards are filled with hope. Following an encouraging preseason, the Redbirds believe they can finally deliver on the unfulfilled promises of seasons past. Today, Tom Landry and the Dallas Cowboys will try to redeem themselves against Landry's former assistant, Gene Stallings, and the St. Louis Cardinals. And CBS Sports welcomes you to Busch Stadium in St. Louis. On a beautiful afternoon, it's the Dallas Cowboys against the St. Louis Cardinals, two clubs that would love to forget the 1986 season. We have a splendid day for football. Not a cloud in the sky, not much of a breeze. Temperature 75 degrees. A gorgeous day indeed. But there are empty seats here at Busch Stadium, and for the first time in 23 years, the Cardinals and the Cowboys did not sell out Busch Stadium here in St. Louis. And good afternoon again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, and welcome to the 68th season of the National Football League. And we've talked about the Cardinals and Cowboys, both coming off some tough years, and the Cowboys in particular, their first losing year in 20 seasons. And pleasure to be working with Terry Bradshaw this season. And Terry, the Cowboys really have some serious offensive problems going into the year.
Well, the problem they have, Dick, is injury. They built their offense. Paul Hackett and Tom Landry designed an offense around Mike Sherrod, their fine wide receiver. He's out, broken leg. Now Herschel Walker, he's out. He misses the entire preseason with a strained knee ligament. Tony Dorsett had both knees operated on in the offseason. So today the question is, how will they handle up? Will they have any more injuries?
And what about Danny White, the quarterback, who missed the last half of the year with a broken wrist? What kind of situation is he in right now, according to Paul Hackett, their offensive pass coordinator?
But Danny only has 20% movement in the right wrist. So their concern is, how long will he last? Can can he take a lick? He made it through the preseason game. Their concern is their pass blocking. They have to give him time to set up and throw what Hackett says is the perfect delivery. If he does that, he can be accurate. If he's forced out, then he has a tendency not to throw accurate.
Terry, the Cardinals coming off their worst record since they moved to St. Louis, but they come in with a lot more optimism than the Cowboys, and I think their offense may be ready to gel. What do you think?
Well, their offense seems to be back. One of the really key ingredients is their attitude. Neil Lomax is back. He's throwing well, completed over 60% of his passes in the preseason. Excited Roy Green, their big deep threat weapon. He's back today. Look for the Cardinals to come out and blitz early. That'll be the key to victory.
All right, Terry, we're ready for the kickoff. The Cardinals have won the toss. Roger Ruzek, the new kicker for the Dallas Cowboys, will be kicking. And there you see Vi Sikahema, who went to the Pro Bowl for his return play last year. And the kick will go out of bounds and a penalty marker down. So the new rule this year is that you don't necessarily go back 5 yards, but the club can now take it on the 35-yard line, their own 35-yard line. And Terry Bradshaw, I kind of like that rule.
Well, what it's going to do is one of the things they're concerned about is speeding the game up, and that eliminates a lot of decisions. Just take the ball out, go up to the 35-yard line, and let her rip.
Cowboys defense, and Kevin Brooks replaces John Dutton at tackle with White and Jeffcoat and Jones. The linebackers, Mike Heckman, Eugene Lockhart, and Jeff Rora. In the secondary, a rookie, Ron Francis, is starting at right cornerback. Walls, Downs, and Bates are the others. First and 10 at the 35-yard line. Neil Lomax, the quarterback, and will throw on first down. He'll throw deep to Roy Green. He's got it. A 45-yard play to Roy Green. What a way for the Big Red to start the season.
The thing that has made the Cardinals so exciting over the last few years, Dick, has been the ability of Green to beat walls deep. They have beaten the Cowboys by throwing the deep pass, and once again, you can see the step beyond walls, a perfectly thrown pass by Lomax.
Gain of 44 yards officially, and this crowd is roaring. Roy Green trying to stage a comeback year this season. Now it's first and 10 Cardinals at the Cowboy 21. Stump Mitchell now out to the left. In motion is Don Holmes. And up the middle is Earl Farrell, the fullback, and he gets a couple. The rest of the Cardinal offense supporting Neil Lomax, the quarterback. Earl Farrell, who carried on that play, and Stump Mitchell in the backfield. J.T. Smith and Roy Green, the wide receiver. Up front, it's Louis Sharp, Joe Bostic, Mike Ruther, Lance Smith, and Tootie Robbins, and a new tight end starting in Jay Novacek. Gain of 4 on the play. It'll be second down and 6 at the 17. Lomax looking to rebound, and Mitchell finds a hole and gets inside the 15-yard line. It'll be third down. Bill Bates and Randy White combine to make the tackle.
One of the things that the Cardinals wanted to establish this year was a real competitive attitude, a spirit, one of those kind of fighting type attitudes. And that time, Ruther, the center, he takes on Lockhart, the middle linebacker, and they kind of get in there and have a little scuffle. So you can see right now, Dick, that the Cardinals are fired up, and they believe they ought to beat the Cowboys today.
Gene Stallings, who coached the Cowboy defensive backs for 14 years. The Cardinals with a 3rd and 2 on the 13, going with 2 tight ends. Quick toss. And it's caught. Jay Novacek, the tight end, and he'll have another first down for the Cardinals close to the 5-yard line. Ron Francis on the stop.
The key here is when any time you're going to see Novacek spread out, the tendency on behalf of the Cowboys is to cover him man for man. Now, Novacek has good speed, and he'll go deep later on in this game. That time, the cornerback Francis got off of Novacek. All Neil Lomax did was made a little audible and popped in the football.
Novacek is a former world-class decathlete out of the University of Wyoming. Actually went to the Olympic tryouts in 1984. So it's first and goal at the 6. Green split to the left. Stump Mitchell knocked back, loses a yard, and that was Eugene Lockhart. And Terry, Lockhart has emerged as the leader of the Cowboys defensive unit right in the middle.
Well, the middle linebackers in the 4-3 are the key to your defense. They're responsible, especially in the flex, to cover 2 gaps, not just one. So Lockhart has to fill up inside, take on the guards, and then bounce outside and knock off any penetration from the outside.
Last year, the Cardinals weren't able to reach pay dirt in the first quarter till week 12, and they're threatening here. 2nd and goal on the 6. Nearly 3 minutes gone by. Cowboys indicating blitz.
Audible.
Downs calls it off on the audible. Lomax dumps it off, and Stump Mitchell can't hold on to it. It'll be 3rd down. Ron Francis was covering on the play, and
one of the plays that the Cardinals wanted to run in this situation on the 10-yard line inside was a little play action coming out to the right and hit the tight end in the corner. That time the Cowboys came up and showed blitz, and play action against blitz gets the quarterback sacked. Lomax very wisely checked off.
Neil Lomax looking to rebound after rumors that he'd be traded to the Raiders and possibly San Diego. He had a very strong preseason. 3rd and goal at the 6. In motion goes Mitchell. And Lomax doesn't like what he sees and calls a timeout. Terry, it's a smart timeout at this juncture, even though it's early.
Well, the thing that Lomax doesn't want to have happen here is he's got a play call that's designed to score a touchdown here. He saw that when Penn ran out with a man in motion, that was not what he wanted. Wisely called a timeout.
Timeout. St. Louis will have a 3rd down when we come back. 7-7. The Cardinals have used up one of their 3 timeouts because they don't want to squander a golden opportunity here. First play of the game, Lomax hit Roy Green with a 44-yard strike. But now the Cowboy defense is tightened, and following the timeout, the Cardinals will have a 3rd and goal from the 6-yard line. They brought in Don Holmes, the 3rd wide receiver, and Stump Mitchell has left the game.
A lot of times, especially with a team like the Cardinals that like to throw to their back, and they'll run a little pick screen where they'll take the back out and pick the linebacker and bring Green underneath. So look for a little pick here.
J.T. Smith is split to the left, Holmes to the right. Roy Green in the slot now comes in motion. Lomax
there he is.
Going right all the way, and it's off the hands of Roy Green. You had it right, but Green couldn't hold on, and it'll be 4th down, and the Cardinals will have to settle for an attempted field goal.
You're going to see Green coming in motion. It's exactly what I expected. It's a pick, back outside. Novacek goes out, picks the safety, and look at this. Green is wide open inside on Albritton, number 36, but he drops the football.
It is 4th down, and the latest in a long line of kickers is in there now. Jim Gallery, picked up on waivers from New England. He's got a very strong leg. 25 years old, he'll be attempting a 23-yard field goal, and Cliff Stout will be holding with just under 12 minutes remaining in the first quarter. And Gallery's kick is good. Jim Gallery, and the Cardinals lead it 3-0. And if you're wondering what kind of search the Cardinals have had for place kickers, it has been a long one, and they have had a bunch of kickers over the years here in St. Louis, and they're hoping that Gallery will be the answer. Now, this goes back to the 60s when Jim Bakken was here, Steve Little and Neil O'Donoghue, and of course since 1985, look at all the kickers the Cardinals have brought in. In any event, Jim Gallery has made good on a 23-yard field goal in a 3-0 St. Louis. And you see where John Lee, who was a number 2 pick last year, was let go.
It's amazing that you draft a kicker in the 2nd round in the first place, but John Lee, they knew, didn't have a strong enough leg to kick the ball deep inside the 5-yard line, and that's the very reason why he was released, because his leg wasn't strong enough to kick it deep. They weren't really concerned too much about him making field goals. They felt like that would happen.
So Gallery will now kick off for the Cardinals. Robert Levette and Darrell Clack will go back to return for the Cowboys. 3-0, St. Louis leading. Levette is on the right and Clack on the left. Cowboys have won 21 of their last 22 opening games. They set an NFL record with 17 in a row before my partner here in the Pittsburgh Steelers ended that
Monday
streak.
night.
Yep.
That's our last big hurrah in Pittsburgh. They haven't had many since.
And that great mark includes 11 straight away from Texas Stadium. Gallery kicks it 6 yards in the end zone, and Clack will down it there. You think this crowd appreciates the leg of Jim Gallery?
You're looking around the stadium, Dick, and there are people actually standing up and applauding. So just a simple kickoff 6 yards deep gets these folks excited.
And a 3-0 lead, but now the Dallas Cowboys take over. Danny White, 35 years old, running the show, and they set Herschel Walker out to the left. Todd Fowler and Tony Dorsett, the running backs. White finds Fowler, and Fowler is down at the 25-yard line, a gain of 5. Anthony Bell and Carl Carter making the stop, and let's take a closer look at the St. Louis defense. Freddie Joe Nunn, a converted linebacker, and then back to the 4-3 for St. Louis with Plasby, Duda, and Curtis Greer up front. The linebackers, Bell, who made the tackle, Nico Noga in the middle, and E.J. Jr., the veteran, at right linebacker. Carter, Cedric Mack, and 2 good safeties in Lonnie Young and Leonard Smith in the secondary. Gain of 6, and it'll be 2nd down and 4 at the 26. White. He's got Walker, and Walker has the 1st down just beyond the 30. Leonard Smith making the tackle, and the rest of the offense for the Dallas Cowboys. Dorsett and Walker, Gordon Banks and Mike Renfro. As Terry mentioned, their wide receiver core is decimated. The offensive line will feature Nate Newton starting for the first time. Doug Hosby, the tight end. 2-A, Rafferty, Kerr, and Pozderick up front. 1st and 10 Cowboys at the 31-yard line. Dorsett breaks the tackle and gets nearly 5 yards. Dorsett looks like he's primed for a big year, Terry.
Well, he looks good. The thing that'll be interesting today, and I'll point this out, that time they shifted their defensive line to the strong side, and then Dorsett ran back to the weak side to a little bubble action. So as the day progresses, I want to keep an eye and see if that is in case they are going to run at the bubble.
For only the 2nd time since his junior year in high school, Tony Dorsett did not gain 1,000 yards in a season.
Well, he had those bad knees all banged up.
2nd and 7 at the 34. A lot of motion and shifting this afternoon. And here comes the safety blitz. Leonard Smith fumble, and the whistle blew. White was down back at the 26-yard line, and a loss on the play. Terry, you telegraphed the safety blitzes that the Cardinals expect to use on Danny White this afternoon.
You're going to see Smith right in the center of your screen is going to pursue from the blind side of Danny White. Danny White does not see Leonard Smith coming because it's a play action. As you can see, going right, doesn't have any idea that Smith is going to catch him, sacked.
Loss of 8 yards on the play, 3rd down and 15. Cosby now lines up in the slot to the left. White getting pressure again, and down he goes to the 15. Curtis Greer, he's making a big return from serious knee surgery, and he gets a sack.
Al Baker was traded, bottom of your screen, number 75. Baker traded to Cleveland because they felt Greer was strong enough to come and have a good season. As you can see, right past 2-A, a double-team block on him, Dick, but he gets through and makes the sack.
2 strong defensive plays by the Cardinals, and Mike Saxon will kick from the goal line. Val Sikahema could give the Cardinals good field position.
Oh, dandy.
Sikahema back to the 35. Penalty markers fly all over the place, and Sikahema is down at the 46-yard line. Bob Frederick is our referee today, and he'll tell us what it's all about. Todd Fowler made the stop on Sikahema, and shaken up momentarily is Jesse Penn for the Cowboys.
Illegal block above the waist, number 80 on the kick return team.
Robert Awalt, tight end, and that will set the Cardinals back and eliminate some of that fine field position they had. as a result of that kick. So with 9:50 remaining in the first quarter here at Busch Stadium on a gorgeous day, it's the Cardinals 3 and the Cowboys nothing.
Yeah.
Huh?
Feel all right to you?
I think you're doing great.
Well, they blitz. Isn't that nice?
You said that. Yes,
That's
you did.
okay. No, you got it. That's good.
Do you have the crowd out of my ear? No, that's not what I asked. Do I have, well, only one man would know. Mark, is it? Okay, thank you. She's great, thank you. She's covering the open if it stops raining today. It's pouring in New York.
Well, I think it'd be very interesting to keep our eyes on Green again. They're trying to run, but they're not having any success, and so they're going to throw the ball deep, and they're going to do it on first down. I'd like to make a point about the flex on first down.
Okay.
Because that's a running front. That's not a pass rush
After the
front.
first play, why don't you do that? Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I know you.
If they throw it, it'll be even better.
I know.
Yeah.
But
Okay, that's fine.
We may not have time coming. The first quarter, as Tom Landry's team goes on the defensive for the second time. Landry now is increasing his duties, getting a lot more involved in the defense. Offensively, it's perhaps a lot more complicated situation with the Cowboys that we'll tell you about as we go on. In any event, following the penalty, the Cardinals have a 1st and 10 on their own 33-yard line. Stump Mitchell is in the game. Farrell in motion. Mitchell tries to cut inside and manages to get close to the 35-yard line, a gain of about a yard and a half, and that's all. Jim Jeffcoat making the stop for the Cowboys.
One of the things you should always look for when you play the Cowboys on first down is that they jump into that flex and both their ends got both hands on the ground. Then you want to audible and throw the football because they're not going to rush the passer. And that's what we used to do, and that's what Lomax did on first down when he hit Green for that 40-yarder.
He ran on first down this time. We'll see what happens second down at 33. Cowboys expecting pass. Lomax under pressure, fires, and nearly a great catch by J.T. Smith. Ron Francis was covering on the play. J.T. Smith set the Cardinal club record with 80 catches last year. He was a forgotten man at Kansas City. Came on strong a year ago with the Cardinals.
He was brought in primarily as a possession receiver, not a deep threat. He was brought in to complement Green. He was their bombs away guy. They needed a guy to get in and work on the linebackers and work the 10 to 15-yard route, and he does that extremely well.
3rd down and 8. Into the shotgun goes Lomax. And the Cowboys in their 4-0 defense. Hendricks, Aldrich, and Penn in the ballgame. Lomax has the pass tipped at the line. See who got a hand on it. It might have been Kevin Brooks, but we'll wait and see. In any event, it'll be 4th down, and Greg Cater will punt for the first time.
One of the problems a quarterback has when he plays the Cowboys now with Brooks in the ball game, he's 6'8", and Jones is also on the right side. He's 6'8". Jones goes out wide and inside. Look at number 99 and Randy White, 54. They put their hands up and they knock the ball down.
Actually, White, as you saw, made the play, but Brooks was in his face.
Yeah, and White's the shortest one of the bunch.
Gordon Banks is back for the Cowboys, and Greg Cater kicking to the sideline.
Ooh, dangerous.
High kick, and Banks is brought down right there at the 20-yard line by Don Holmes. Holmes got there in a hurry and wouldn't let Banks get away. Penalty marker is down. So let's wait and see. Cowboys 7-9 a year ago after 20 straight winning seasons. Cardinals won only 4 games. And a lengthy conference out on the field. We saw where the Steelers took a 7-0 lead over the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, I tell you, the Steelers, I do a little show, and I said the Steelers were going to upset the 49ers. I don't think the 49ers are playing that well, and Pittsburgh obviously hasn't been, but they're playing them at home, and they're hard to beat there.
Tend to agree. Jay Schrader sprained a shoulder. Doug Williams replaced him in the Washington-Philadelphia game, with the Redskins leading 3-0.
While we're waiting for a decision, I can't imagine what it could be because the blocking rules say above the waist. Either that or they got an illegal man downfield, or they didn't give the return guy enough room to catch the ball, but it didn't put a hand up so you can deck him there. So I don't know what this is.
We had 2 fouls on the kick return team. Be an offensive holding 10 yards, and we had an incidental face mask, and they will take the 10-yard penalty. It'll be first down and 10.
Well, the incidental is only a 5-yard penalty, and the holding is 10, so you know, these guys got college degrees, and it's pretty easy to put that together.
I'm not so sure about that. Gene Stallings, who admitted to us yesterday when we talked to him that he gets uptight before a game like this. He said, I got no time for small talk. He made no bones about it.
Well, we didn't want to have small talk with him, but wasn't it interesting to watch him get on the blackboard and draw the flex up as only he would be able to explain it to us and draw it and tell us what it does and how it works, what its functions are. I enjoyed that.
First and 10 back at the 10-yard line for the Cowboys, trailing the Cardinals 3-0. Danny White wants to get out of trouble and completes to Herschel Walker. Breaks a couple of tackles, and Herschel Walker down the sideline. What a move by Herschel Walker after the catch. Leonard Smith and Lonnie Young finally brought him down. And he doesn't like to be a receiver, Terry.
Well, he does an excellent job at it. 2 tight end, 2 backs coming out, play action. As you can see, White will drop back, play action to Dorsett. All Herschel does is run in the flat. Danny sees no linebacker laying way off of him, turns around, throws him the football. Carter misses the tackle, and then Walker, with a great speed and a great strength, simply sprints down the field. Now, the thing that's interesting about Walker, he hasn't played all year.
No down in preseason. 37-yard gain, and the Cowboys close to midfield, first and 10. And Walker gets a chance to carry the ball and gets into Cardinal territory and picks up close to 5 yards on that play.
They're going to put Herschel Walker all over the football field at wing back, flanker, tight end, running back. And when we talked to him last night, he made no bones about the fact that he wants to run the football. He doesn't feel a complete football player. He said, I earned my reputation as a running back, not as a wide receiver. And if they're going to use me as a wide receiver, then I'm going to retire or try to get traded.
He's got enough money to say that.
He said that, didn't he? He said, I don't need the money. I have plenty of money.
Second down and 5 at the Cardinals 48. And there is a completed pass to Mike Renfro out of bounds. Another Dallas first down. Carter covering on the play, and I wouldn't be surprised, Terry, if they work on Carl Carter, who's moved into the starting position full-time this year and only his second season in the league.
Well, the Cardinals, not unlike the Cowboys, put a lot of pressure on their corners by forcing them to cover everyone man-to-man. Danny White did an excellent job of 5 steps, releases the football before Renfro makes his breakout. Carter laying too far off, easy catch. Danny White led the Cowboys to a 6-2 mark before he suffered that broken wrist against the Giants last year. First and 10 Dallas at the St. Louis 37. Here they come. And a handoff to Dorsett. If he gets outside, he'll get good yardage. And Anthony Bell prevented just that. He made a fine grab on Dorsett. This is poor read by Danny White. Anytime you have a run on and you have a blitz, the gaps are taken. Every lane is taken for a running back. He has to get out of that, make an audible, and throw the football because his wide receivers, and primarily that time Walker, was man for man. Judy Robbins, the offensive right tackle for the Cardinals, was shaken up on the last series. He may not return. Second down and 10 Dallas on the St. Louis 37. They've got both Walker and Dorsett in the backfield. Pitch to Dorsett. Cardinals forced the play and a loss. And that was Carl Carter, who came up strong from the secondary. Once again, their safeties are putting a lot of pressure on, or penetrating on in the backfield. Lonnie Young, 43, the weak safety, will come flying up to the outside. He'll force Dorsett wide, and then he'll allow Carter to come up and make the tackle. 78 Freddie Joe Nunn. There's Carter coming up, and he makes the tackle. A lot of blitzing. Cardinals felt to beat the Cowboys, they had to put pressure on White with blitzes. Blitzes also stopped the run.
I said that White had a poor preseason. They didn't want him to get in the groove so fast. 3rd and 12. Travis Curtis, 5th defensive back in the spread for Danny White. Trying to go to Herschel Walker, but the pass wasn't there. Nico Noga was closest to him, so it'll be 4th down. And now the Cowboys will try to get 3 points to tie this game up. The big play was a pass to Walker. He did much of it on his own, and then an 11-yarder to Renfro. And now in the ball game is Mike Saxon, and they're going to punt the ball. They won't try for the field goal, too far out. Vai Sikahema standing on the 10. Saxon's kick goes out of bounds. Last year, he made a career out of kicking inside the 20. He had the most kicks inside the 20 of any punter in the NFL. So it'll be Cardinal ball when we come back. They lead the Cowboys 3-0. By Jim Gallery, the only scoring so far in the game. And Tom Landry has had a lot of success against coaches that used to be on his staff. He's 2-0 against Gene Stallings, and we'll give you the rest of the list after this 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line. Stump Mitchell flips back to Lomax. Didn't fool the Cowboys for the moment. Lomax, though, completes the pass to J.T. Smith, and a 1st down at the 35-yard line. Walls on the stop, and a little razzle-dazzled by the Cardinals.
You like this, so it turns around very simply. Hands into the fullback, turns around, hands back to the quarterback, but an excellent job by Jones as he forces Lomax out, and then of course he turns on the run and finds J.T. Smith, who does a good job of adjusting his route from a deep route, and he trails and go after Lomax to give him a target.
A gain of 18 on the play, and the Cardinals have it out to their own 35-yard line. 5.5 minutes remaining in the 1st quarter. Dick Stockton and Terry Bradshaw here at Busch Stadium. Mitchell bounces off one tackler, and that's all. No gain on the play. Lockhart and Bates on the tackle. Well, here's what Tom Landry has done against his former assistants. He's 2-0, having beaten Gene Stallings twice last year. He's 0-1 against Dan Reeves at Denver, and 1-2 against the Bears head coach Mike Ditka.
So he's 9-4-1. No, he's 11-4-1.
Gene Chilton has replaced Tootie Robbins at right tackle for the Cardinals. He takes 2nd down and 10 on their 35. Farrell gets an opening. Farrell has a 1st down. To the 47-yard line. 12-yard gain, Vince Albritton. And a good block by Joe Bostic, the left guard.
You're going to see Farrell this time come up inside Lomax in a single back set counteraction with the guards pulling. There's a good trap by Smith. Outside, bounces inside, then Farrell's outside and does a fine job of himself trying to run over the safeties and getting the 1st down. Misdirection. Fake one way, hand back, and go the other.
Suffered a fractured thumb mid-August, and the cast is off. He's had some good games against the Cowboys. Stump Mitchell now in there. 1st and 10, the Cardinals 47. Lomax play action, nowhere to go. It'll get him from behind. Jim Jeffcoat, who led Dallas with 14 sacks a year ago.
Well, you can credit this sack to Lomax. That time he had so much time to throw the football, but a good job by the secondary, no one open. Little play action, try to freeze the linebackers to get people in behind him where he can throw the football, trying to get it to his tight end, Novacek. He stumbles, and then, of course, there's Jeffcoat, 77. Too much time allowed him to get up and make the sack.
Loss of 8 on the play. 2nd down and 17. Cardinals on their own 40-yard line. Up the middle, Farrell dives to the 44-yard line. It'll be 3rd and long. as we wind down to the 4-minute mark in this first quarter. Redskins now 10-0 over Philadelphia, but Doug Williams is the quarterback replacing the injured Jay Schrader. Opening weekend of the 68th NFL season. Third down and 13 at the 44. 4 wide receivers in there for St. Louis. Inside pressure against Lomax. Up the middle. Incomplete and nearly intercepted. Michael Downs and Manny Hendricks. J.T. Smith, the intended receiver, and very nearly a completion.
Anytime you throw the football 15 to 20 yards downfield, you put a lot of pressure on your offensive lineman. This time, good job, good route by Smith as he comes across the middle, but he drops the football. Tough year last year. He throws the ball in there. Gosh, dog, guys, catch the ball. We need all the good luck we can get.
So it's 4th down. Greg Cater.
Something like that.
Probably exactly word for word. And Gordon Banks is deep for the Cowboys.
Oh.
Good high kick and a fair catch called for. And it takes a roll into the end zone for a touchback. A 56-yard kick by Greg Cater. So the Cowboys will take over on the 20-yard line. When we come back, it's still 3-0, and Tom Landry wants some answers.
Lomax is on he's on the money. He's throwing the ball extremely well.
Too much risky.
Cowboys going to blitz. Cardinals are going to blitz. We're going to see blitzes, lots of blitzes.
Safeties.
Safeties. They're either going to bring
Smith and
45 or 43 up.
Yeah.
If they, one of those guys, if they go spread formation, watch for them to come off the slot. But I got a feeling they're going to come out and try to blitz. I mean, they've been successful blitzing. It stops the run, and it's put a lot of pressure on White.
All right. No.
Gotcha.
All right, I may do it after the first play if there's no blitz, okay? If there's no blitz, I'm going to start. Give me how much time back? Tell me 10 seconds back. Thank you. Slowly. We'll just slowly do it. I'll set it up with Erkenbeck, new man on the thing, and then we'll ham and egg it in and out of plays.
Banger.
No blitz. I'll get to Landry. Busch Stadium in St. Louis. 75 degrees at game time. The start of the year. 2 NFC Eastern teams, and you can see the heat emanating from this artificial surface. First and 10 at the 20-yard line for the Cowboys. Their biggest play was a 37-yard pass and run from Danny White to Herschel Walker. Tom Landry, who's beginning his 28th year as head coach, will be talking to Paul Hackett, the offensive pass coordinator, who's upstairs. But there's a new figure in the scheme of things this year. And that is Jim Erkenbeck, who will be handling the run offense, and it gets a little complicated. The Cowboys have it worked out. Herschel Walker going left on first down. Look at that strength as tacklers bounce off him, and Walker is close to a first down himself.
It's like he's trying to prove a point, saying, look, give me the football. I can run the football. Now, Paul Hackett says, we've got our runner in Dorsett. This guy's too valuable as a receiver. We didn't realize that he could run from the flanker and split in positions and run routes like a wide receiver. And that's his fault for being such a great athlete.
But as he told us last night, he says you don't get into the Hall of Fame being a very good player who can do a lot of things. You have to be known for one thing. You have to be known as a running back. First and 10 at the 31. Here comes the blitz and the pass to Dorsett, who would have been off to the races with ease, and he knows it. But right now, for an NFL Today update, We're going to check in with Brent Musburger. All right, Brent, thank you very much. And so things are changing in Tampa. You were down there at preseason.
Well, everyone's expecting that Testaverde, but the Birds rising to the occasion. 2 TDs, not bad first game.
Dorsett almost had one. 2nd and 10, Rod Barksdale. Acquired from the Raiders, wearing number 80, is in the game for the Cowboys. 2nd and 10 at the 31. Dorsett to the 34-yard line, gain of 3. Not so sure about that handoff. It looked like a late handoff. Dorsett might have been past Danny White. And tempers get a bit uneasy out there.
Nico Noga's wanting to get a little piece of, it looks like Nate Newton, and I think that's a terrible mistake. I wouldn't mess with Newton. All 300 and plus pounds. We're going to look again and see what started all this as Dorsett comes up inside and dips outside to the right. Nate Newton pulling, tackle pulling. There's a good shot. Now you see Leonard Smith coming up from his safety shot. He makes the closing tackle, so I can't see. Oh, there it is. There it is right there. Pulling his leg, little hand in his face, little intimidation.
Tony said, I had enough of leg problems. I don't need this. 3rd down and 7. Cowboys on their 34. White out of the spread, and he's got Walker close to a first down at the 41. Leonard Smith on the strong hit to Herschel Walker. We said did not play in preseason because of a knee injury. He's not wearing a brace, but it's heavily taped.
You know, he said that when he came back, Dick, that they ran him so much this week in practice that his legs and his groins are just sore. He was sore last night when he left up. He said, I'm going to go up to my room and stretch. He said, they put so much on him. He's so involved in this offense that he was literally exhausted when he came up here to play the Cardinals.
It is a first down for the Cowboys on their 41-yard line. 2 tight ends for Dallas, Thornton Chandler in the ball game. Now Dorsett goes in motion for the first time. Walker on the receiving end again. Herschel Walker close to a first down again, and Anthony Bell on the tackle. Paul Hackett says the best thing Herschel Walker can do is be in open spaces as a receiver.
Well, that's the reason they play him all over in certain positions to isolate him, to get him out. The shifting, the multiple formations are designed so that a team can never practice against that formation. They'll change it next week, and therefore they feel like if they show it and they change Walker around, you can never stop him.
But with all of those weapons that you would think the Cowboys have, they have struggled. They averaged 9 points a game in preseason. In the second half of last year, only 15. Reverse. 2nd and 1 on a reverse. Walker will have the first down by a yard. He's in the Cardinal territory to the 47-yard line. Tackled by Carl Carter in the secondary. You know, Dorsett may be the great scat back that the Cowboys have, but Walker is such a burly fellow that tacklers bounce off him, reminiscent of Jimmy Brown in his heyday.
Jim Johnson, defensive line coach for the Cardinals, said the secret to the Cowboys in stopping their running backs is forcing Dorsett wide and forcing Walker inside. He felt like the pursuit could stop him outside, and they didn't feel like Walker was a power runner. He's a speed runner.
Renfro and Banks are the wide receivers, and the Cowboys.
Chandler off sides.
Thornton Chandler, by the way, wearing a new number. He has worn number 85, and now will wear 89. Bob Frederick.
Cowboys drive
False start. Number 89 on the offense.
Cowboys just drive you crazy, Dick. They have probably 100 formations, every one, and they might run the same play. It may have 5 plays they can run from all 100 formations, and it drives a defensive coordinator, which is Stallings in this case, drives you crazy. How do you prepare for it? That's why the Cardinals feel that to beat them, we have to get physical. Everybody thinks you have to get physical to beat the Cowboys.
15 seconds remaining in the first quarter. 1st and 15. Cowboys back in their own territory. White,
got him.
Enough time, has Cosby, and Cosby dives forward and gets it to the 45, and that will do it in the first quarter. E.J. Jr. on the stop, and that's the end of the first quarter here in St. Louis, with the Cardinals leading the Cowboys 3-0. Yeah?
Yep.
Huh? Do we have Walker with 4 catches, 57 yards on a graphic at some point? Okay. You're going to get Hackett? Or what are you going to do?
There it is, right there. There he is, right in the middle with the glasses on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, he's down here to my left.
That's the press box, so you got to go the other way.
He's down.
Keep going.
He's all the way down to the left of the press box. He's right there.
Yeah. First downs or anything that I need to know, guys? The great arch in the background at Busch Stadium. Opening game of the year between two clubs who struggled last year. And the Cardinals lead at 3-0 on the strength of a 23-yard field goal by Jim Gallery on the first possession by St. Louis. An explosive start for Neil Lomax as he hit Roy Green on a 44-yard play on the very first play. Now the Dallas Cowboys in Cardinal territory as we start the second quarter, have a 2nd and 8 at the 45.
Now you can start expecting the Cardinals to blitz. They're threatening the Cowboys are to score, get in that field goal area, and it's 2nd and long. So now you expect them to come out and start blitzing their safeties again.
White 7 of 9 for 81 yards passing.
Leonard Smith coming.
And here's Leonard Smith. White dumps it off to Dorsett. Dorsett has open field to the 30-yard line. Tony Dorsett still going. And tackled from behind inside the 15-yard line to the 12. It was Bob Clasby, a converted defensive end from Notre Dame. Good blocking in the middle of the offensive line for Dallas.
Couldn't have a better call on to a better back with explosiveness, and that's what it takes. As you can see, everyone in. Leonard Smith, strong safety, blitzes, man for man, good lead by Rafferty, the center, downfield blocking, and then Dorsett sprinting for the end zone. Gain of 33 yards for the Cowboys. It's 1st and 10 at the 12-yard line. 33-year-old Tony Dorsett. Might be a bit winded after that, but he goes in motion. Herschel Walker. Tacklers bounce off him. And finally, it takes Leonard Smith. Wrestles Herschel Walker down inside the 10. And to show you how effective Danny White has been in leading the Cowboys, they have scored 32 straight times with White at the helm inside the 20-yard line. Maybe more impressive is that all but 5 have been touchdowns. We'll see what happens here. 2nd and 7. Walker and Dorsett in the backfield.
Green! No, get off. Green! Set! Make it.
Being chased by Young, and White has to throw it away. This time, Lonnie Young, the free safety king, storming in, and a penalty marker is thrown. White pass into the play. Penalty flag down. Cowboys are not picking up those safeties as well as they'd like.
That's a different type of blitz. Leonard Smith, the strong safety, has been coming out wide, lining up on the end of the line of scrimmage. Very easy to see him blitzing. Lonnie Young sneaks up like a little thief. He gets up there, gets right up in there, then bang, away he goes, and you can't see it, and you can't make audibles. And he forced White to do the thing that Hackett doesn't want him to have to do, and that's to sprint out and throw on the run.
The flag will be picked up. There was no foul on the play.
So it'll be 3rd down and 7 at the 9-yard line. Colin Scott's, a defensive tackle, has come in replacing Mark Duda.
You know, when you see blitzes and you get a lot of them as a quarterback and you get up there, you go, where are they coming from now? You know, which one are they going to use now? And it absolutely, Dick, drives you crazy.
There is Scotts, who's the first Australian to play in the National Football League. 3rd and 7. Barksdale is in. And a timeout is called by the Cardinals. So normally you'd expect the offensive team wants to get in, but Gene Stallings calls the timeout. Second timeout of this first half by St. Louis.
I'd do that. I saw they're going to do that.
Oh, that's okay. That's all right. You don't have, you know.
I just said it.
That's all right.
I mean, I don't know.
You said timeout?
Yeah.
Because you would have called timeout?
No, I saw it coming.
Oh. That's all right.
Like the blitzes.
Yeah.
And you see it coming.
Whatever you...
Be alert.
Huh?
Yes, with the glasses.
Yeah. If we have time.
That's him.
You got Erkenbeck?
Erkenbeck also has.
All right.
Banger.
Yeah, we set it up okay. I mean,
yeah. Okay, yeah. All right. Did Dick hear you say that?
yeah, I heard him say that.
Okay.
Is there something?
Where did it start from?
Where did it start from? Doesn't matter. We're going to do a game film. Dick Stockton and Terry Bradshaw back in St. Louis. Tom Landry on the phone. He is communicating with Paul Hackett, his offensive pass coordinator, who is upstairs. There is Hackett, who's talking to Landry.
With the glasses on, dark glasses in the center there.
And Jim Erkenbeck is on the sideline. There he is. And Hackett and Erkenbeck talk things over when the Cowboys are on defense to kind of work out what offensively they may have planned. Erkenbeck, of course, is the lawyer for the running game.
He's the banging coach.
Right,
he's the guy that Hackett says he wants to bang it in there. I want to throw it. We both talk. Landry tells us the direction he wants. That's Erkenbeck there. Landry tells us what direction he wants us to go, hangs up, goes on to defense. He and Erkenbeck and Hackett get together, discuss the plays, and then when Landry comes back on offense, they say, here are the plays, coach. And then he either says, great, or I don't want that, I don't want that. Picks the place, and away they go.
And the key thing is that Paul Hackett is the one voice talking to Tom Landry.
Yeah, he says, I am the one voice in his ear. Now, the other thing I posed to him was what happens if you get a long drive going, if it's a 2-minute drill. Then he says that Landry takes over and calls all the plays.
That's how the Cowboys run their offense.
Confusing.
We had a delay because the referee had to change his microphone. It wasn't working. And now it's 3rd and 7 at the 9-yard line. Rod Barksdale is the third wide receiver on the right for Dallas. And an inside handoff to Herschel Walker, and Nico Noga slowed him up. And Walker is stopped at the 5 by Curtis Greer. Not a bad call.
Well, it's not a good call for one reason. It's man coverage, and Noga had the responsibility of covering Walker.
Like I said, what a bad call.
Noga sits there, and he puts his eye on Walker. All the receivers are covered man for man, and then he simply sat there, and a draw is designed to get the linebackers to drop deep so you can get the blockers on him. That case, man for man, he just sat there and tackled him.
So Roger Ruzek, who kicked for the USFL New Jersey Generals. Steve Pallure is holding. This will be a 22-yard attempt. Ruzek trying to tie it up for the Cowboys. 12:28 remaining in the first half, and the kick is good. And Roger Ruzek with a 22-yard field goal has tied the game. Cowboys going with a new kicker. 3-3 the score. We'll be back for the Dallas kickoff in just a moment. Did you hear what I did? Like
No.
I said it was a bad call?
I heard you. Yes, wasn't that lovely?
That's fine, and it wasn't pushed. I like that. No. Yeah, very good. I'll kid around anything.
Yeah, but it makes sense. You're guarding, then you're going to draw. You can hand the ball to him when I'm guarding him, and it's man for man. And later on, David, are you there? Later on, I'm going to explain to you one of the keys for a quarterback to look and figure out whether or not it's man coverage.
If I knew the answer to that, I would have been playing instead of being up here all for the last 20 years.
That's what makes it good. You're not supposed to know the answer.
I know.
How long was that drive?
76. All right, Marty, you're hanging in there.
Is that me?
Yeah, I know.
Mark, 4 feet from him.
What do you want to do?
Can't hear me?
David?
Cap it off.
You talking to Hackett?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just make that one. Danny White back on the phone with Paul Hackett, who's not talking to Tom Landry, now concerned with the defense. Talking about what might have been for the Dallas on that drive, but they went 76 yards before the field goal and chewed up nearly 6 minutes of time. Roger Ruzek will kick off for the Cowboys. Vi Sikahema and Derek McAdoo are back for the Cardinals, and another deep kick will be down in the end zone, and the Cardinals will take it out at the 20-yard line. 12 minutes and 17 seconds remaining in the first half. A couple of field goals, and Herschel Walker, who has caught 5 passes today for 57 yards, and he has been really the workhorse for the Dallas offense.
One of the most impressive offensive drives of the season. I'm counting preseason also. 12 plays, so you get an idea of the value that Walker has to the offense of the Cowboys.
First and 10 at the 20 for the Cardinals. Neil Lomax, who rarely throws an interception, dumps it off quickly to Mitchell. Mitchell with that elusive speed. They have a first down for the Cardinals beyond the 30-yard line. Jim Jeffcoat on the tackle. Hard runner, gained 800 yards despite an injured knee last season for St. Louis.
This is a pass that's designed. It's kind of a combination pass to Mitchell. Whereas if the linebackers drop deep, you drop it off. If they blitz, then you have a little screen built into it. And that time they blitzed, and the Lomax dropped it off to Mitchell. Guard and tackle pulls, and bingo, you get what do you got? You got 10 yards. You got a first down.
Scores around the league. Miami leading New England. Dave Novacek and Mitchell. Mitchell now flanked wide, and Cardinals are doing a lot of what the Cowboys want to do. Earl Farrell to the 35-yard line, a gain of 5. Jeffcoat and then Randy White on the stop. And Gene Stallings feels the same way Tom Landry does about the offense schooling the defense.
Well, he brought in Jim Schaffner from the Cowboys as his offensive coordinator. Stallings did, and the thing they wanted to do is to create more motion, more sets that are designed to have schemes built into them, once again to confuse the defense so that they don't get the edge. And so therefore they've had better production from their offense because of the multiple shifts.
Second and 5, Cardinals on their own 35-yard line. Mitchell. And the guy who prevented more yardage was Jim Jeffcoat. Right now, for an NFL Today update, let's check in with Brent Musburger in New York. Brent? All right, Brent, and the Redskins kicker, Jess Atkinson, dislocated an ankle and was taken to the hospital. One of the problems the Redskins didn't have coming into this year were kicking problems. They do now. Right here, it's 3rd and 2 for the Cardinals on the 38. Lomax, pump fake, completes to Novacek, and a first down. To the 42-yard line, Mike Hegman was there.
That time, the play action and the pump by Lomax took Michael Downs and Emerson Walls, two defensive backs going deep that time with Holmes, a wide receiver, allowing Novacek to work outside and make the catch for the first down.
Under 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Neil Lomax looking for a comeback year. Both quarterbacks on the mark percentage-wise. White especially. On first down, play action, and Lomax overthrows J.T. Smith. Ron Francis was there.
Last year, Neil Lomax has lost his confidence, plain and simple. You know, they won't admit it. Quarterbacks will never admit they lost their confidence. He lost his confidence. And a good example of that he has his confidence back right there. He slapped his hands. He helped his Mitchell up, helped him up, patted him on the butt, and said, all right, let's get him the next time. You can just see it in their eyes.
You ever lose your confidence?
Oh, yeah. 14 years of it.
Probably twice, maybe. Second down and 10 at the 41.
Every quarter.
Delay handoff to Mitchell. Breaks one tackle. Look at that work by Stump Mitchell. A loss apparently turned into a gain. Jim Jeffcoat and Michael Downs finally brought down the elusive Mitchell at the 47-yard line. We're in St. Louis on a beautiful afternoon. Busch Stadium, not a sellout, but they're treated to a tight, taut defensive battle. Dick Stockton and Terry Bradshaw and the Dallas Cowboys, who struggled to a losing year, and the Cardinals, who won only 4 games, locked in a 3-3 battle. With 9:20 to go in the first half, Jim Gallery and Roger Ruzek, new kickers for their respective teams, have connected on field goals. Third down and 4 at the 47. Short drop for Lomax, and Green couldn't hold on to it. Hard pass to Roy Green. Would have been a first down if he had caught it.
Well, Green's dropped a couple passes from Lomax. J.T. Smith has dropped a couple. Actually, Lomax is throwing his passes down the field, whereas Danny White is throwing the little quick outs and little screens. And so, therefore, his percentage will be a little lower, but he's had a lot of passes dropped here in the first half.
It's fourth down. Greg Cater, who has averaged, as you see, over 51. Gordon Banks back to receive for the Cowboys.
Whoa.
Beauty. Banks is going to let it go.
Oh, it's going to stop.
And it's down, I believe, by the Cardinals at the 1-yard line. Let's see. And now they're saying it's a touchback. You've got to have your feet inbounds.
You've got to have your feet inbounds. Now, he kept the ball from going in, but his feet slid into the end zone. Touchback.
Broderick Sargent very nearly made a heroic play for the Cardinals.
Actually, I believe had they just left the ball along after it initially was hit, I believe it would have settled. There it lands on the 1-foot line, bounces backwards. Now there comes the tip backwards by Ron Wolfley, and now you see Sargent makes it down right there, but look what happened. He slides into the end zone. It's a touchback.
Very nearly put the Dallas Cowboys in a tough situation.
Now you're going to see Wolfley tip it back. Wise. Now, actually, I believe Sargent could have left the ball alone because he scoops it on about the 3-yard line and drug it into the end zone and crossed that line. When you cross the line, it's history.
I never drug too many things, boy, when I was carrying.
Is it dragged?
Well,
did you drag it?
You might as well say that.
I'm from Louisiana. Dragged, drugged.
Whatever you like. Cater, by the way, has averaged 52 yards on 3 punts as Ernie Stautner is talking to the Cowboy defense. Ernie's been there a long while. Old Pittsburgh Steeler in the 50s.
He's one of 2 players to have his jersey. Byron Wizard White was another one that had his jersey retired, and so did Ernie. The rest of those jerseys are still flying around.
Actually, the Cowboys were very satisfied with their defensive play in preseason.
They made a goal line stand against the Oilers, 4 downs, and kept them from scoring, and they had to be encouraged by that. The one thing the Cowboys, Dick, have never had to worry about was offense. They've always been an explosive offensive unit, and it probably was a little bit of a shock to them that of all the things they had to worry about coming into the season, albeit, of course, because of injuries, was their offense.
First and 10 for the Cowboys on the 20-yard line. They got to the 9-yard line of the Cardinals and had to settle for a field goal last time around. White pitches to Dorsett. And Dorsett ridden out of bounds by Leonard Smith. Right now for an NFL Today update, let's check in once again with our man in New York, Brent Musburger. Well, as we've talked about, the 49ers have been struggling, and the Steelers, who really had a problem in preseason, change of complexion in game number 1. Right here, 2nd and 5 at the 25 for Dallas. 4 players shifted. And Dorsett getting Cosby's block is stopped at the 27-yard line. Anthony Bell, number 1 draft pick a year ago out of Michigan State, had an up and down year. First linebacker picked in that draft.
Well, his second year, as you can see, number 55, right inside, is going to come inside and make the stop. But the key actually was the block. As I go back here, Cosby coming inside, makes the trap on Clasby, the tackle, and the trap, kind of a little sucker trap. He comes inside, Cosby wipes him out.
3rd down and 3 at the Dallas 27. White down. Bob Clasby. He had a big game against the Cowboys last October. He likes playing against this team.
One of the things as a quarterback in an offensive unit, if you're going to get sacked from the outside, never from the inside. Clasby, the left tackle on the right of your screen, is simply going to come up, give a move on Crawford Kerr, the right guard, and boy, he is right by him and in the backfield and makes the sack. But you have to protect the quarterback up front and give him a pocket to stand up and throw in.
3rd sack of the game for St. Louis. Mike Saxon on the goal line will kick by Sikahema with a chance to return one here. And he stopped in his tracks, and a fine play by Manny Hendricks. But the Cardinals will have good field position when we come back to Busch Stadium in a 3-3 affair.
Drag.
We do that, boys. It's great.
Yes,
Great.
sir. Well, hey, don't worry about it, man.
Doing good, buddy.
I'm just floating with the breeze
Doing
here.
good. You feel good? Feel good?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Doing great.
Well, now I'm going to get letters. People are going to get on to me because I don't have proper English.
No,
I've been exposed. And this is going
Not the
back to
first time.
Texas, and everybody in Texas
Not
said,
the
that's
first
right.
It's not the first time.
Drugs.
That's all right. That's why you got a city guy with you.
Okay. There's Bell. Oh, that's Baker. Oh, Charlie Baker coming in there. What's he doing this? Who did he do that to? Oh, really? Yeah, he said he's going to get physical.
Hey, David, everything all right? Yeah. I think it's nice and easy. What are we coming out to? Want to do something? Okay, good. I'm just going to, why don't you take it out?
I'll take it.
Okay? You take it
Well,
out.
you know, this is,
You take it out.
Jay Jr. said we're going to get physical. I mean, there's physical and then there's
But-
cheap shot. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought 5 back. I just don't want you to talk. It's yours coming out.
Talking to the linebackers for the Cardinals, they said one of the things we want to do playing the Cowboys is get physical. Well, physical's one thing. As you can see, Bell hits Dorsett in the back, and then look at Baker, Charlie Baker, 52. Now, that's physical, but that's cheap shot physical.
First down, Cardinals at the 57, and nearly an interception by Jeff Rohrer, and he would have been off to the races. Jeff Rohrer, what kind of book he
Wasn't it Frankenstein?
Yeah, he read the book and And he had Last of the Mohicans with him. Now, I don't
And
know
this
many
is-
people who read Frankenstein.
I don't know either. He was impressed that it was written by some old lady, he said, back in the 17th century. But the thing about Rory is that he's a free spirit. He held out a camp for more money, and I said, are you satisfied? He said, I'm still underpaid. I got a 1-year contract with the option that I'll get my money.
4-0 defense in there for the Cowboys on 2nd and 10 for St. Louis on their 37. Lomax with a roll.
Got him.
Going deep for J.T. Smith.
Oh!
And tripped up by Manny Hendricks, and the flag is thrown. Hendricks is going to appeal. That was an incidental play, but the flag was thrown, and it'll be an interference call. And now the Cowboys apparently have won that argument, and I don't think they're wrong about this.
Well, the thing that so many times you get confused with is even though a receiver falls down, if he's tripped by another player, that doesn't mean necessarily it's pass interference.
It was
And especially,
uncatchable.
exactly, the ball was not catchable, and also if the defensive back was turning around looking for the football, it is not pass interference.
The crowd can't understand that call, but if they rule that it was uncatchable, then it does not go as an interference
Look at right
call.
here. There's the two receivers we're talking about. Smith is behind Hendricks. Now Hendricks turns around, looks. He's got his left hand on his back, and that is a bad call. There should have been a penalty, Dick. Got his left arm on his back. Now let's look at it again. Lomax lays it up, different angle. Now there's J.T. Smith looking for the football, but Hendricks has yet to look for the football, puts his left hand on his back, pushes him down. Should have been a penalty.
3rd and 10. Low snap for Lomax in the shotgun.
Oh, fine catch.
And Holmes made the catch. Don Holmes with Everson Walls all over him. And Holmes, who made some tough catches in preseason for the Cardinals, gives St. Louis a first down with 7:20 to go, a gain of 14.
That's a long pass to the sideline, and that time Lomax had that football in the air, anticipated the spot where Holmes is going to end up, and had the ball waiting for him because Walls actually had Holmes covered extremely well. As you can see, there's the pass. Walls has him man for man. He's all over him, but look at this. Holmes goes up, gets 1 foot in, 2 foot in.
First down, Mitchell. Loss of a couple on the play, and good pursuit by the Cowboys defense on 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. That time Randy White and Eugene Lockhart combined to make the play. Pittsburgh 14-3 over San Francisco at Three River Stadium in the opening game there. The Browns and the Saints are all tied up in the second quarter at the Superdome. Tampa Bay off to a great start thus far, leading Atlanta 21-3. Kansas City in front. Second down and 12. Cardinals on their own 49. Inside handoff to Earl Farrell. And he's not going to get away. And it took a lot of guys, a lot of white shirts to finally bring Earl down. And a loss. Second straight loss.
There are no lanes, Dick, for Farrell to run. Either one of their running backs don't have any lanes to run. They're having to dip in and dip out. And when you do that against the linebacking core of the Cowboys, who are extremely quick at catching up, you're not going to gain any yardage.
Brooks, Bates, and Albritton all in on the play. 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Third down and 16 for the Cardinals. They're back to their own 45. And the word is that E.J. Jr. has a hamstring pull, and he's out of the game. Lomax chased by Brooks. Incomplete. He was going for Roy Green, and 3 Cowboys converged, especially Michael Downs, and it's 4th down.
Just a simple 4-man rush by the Cowboys. Brooks coming inside, gets the penetration, forces Lomax out of the pocket. Lomax not that swift of foot, but he does a good job of outrunning Brooks, setting up and trying to find someone downfield. No one open.
Neil Lomax, who was benched for 2 games last year. First time in his career he was benched. And Greg Cater, who's having a superb afternoon, will be kicking to Gordon Banks. 23 the score. And Cater gets off another beauty. Heading out of bounds. And another fine kick by Cater as it goes out of bounds at the 18-yard line. A 36-yard punt, but more important, no return, and inside the 20 for the Dallas Cowboys to operate. Well, next Saturday at 2:30 Eastern Time, check that. Next here at CBS, which comes before next Saturday, it'll be the men's final of the U.S. Open. Yvonne Lindell, ranked #1, looking for his 3rd straight U.S. Open championship. And he looks to be in a groove. Takes on #3 ranked Mats Wilander of Sweden. That's coming next right here on CBS Sports. Cowboys that start from the 19. Charlie Baker replaces E.J. Jr. at right linebacker. And a great hole opens up for Dorsett, who barrels it out to the 26-yard line. Leonard Smith on the stop, and a gain of 7 on the play.
Dorsett's running style is simply a unique one. He's not extremely large, but he can take a pounding, and he runs low. He kind of sits on down in his legs, and when he goes inside, he's perfect balance, and he's able to cut right or left, and he's a slashing runner.
Because of his injuries, did not play in either game against the Cardinals last season. Todd Fowler joins Dorsett in the backfield, 2nd and 3 at the 26, and Tony dives forward to a first down beyond the 30-yard line. Charlie Baker on the stop. 4 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the first half. Cardinals scored on a Jim Gallery field goal early on from 23 yards, and then Roger Ruzek in the second quarter tied it for the Cowboys with a 22-yard three-pointer. Hot day today, but doesn't seem to be as humid as it could have been, Terry.
That's really nice. Temperature at game time was 75 degrees. Humidity probably 55%, which is really nice.
First down at the 32 of Dallas. Swinging out to Banks, and White bounced that to Gordon Banks.
Freddie Joe Nunn right in White's face, and we've said this before, but if Danny White has time to throw the football, there's none more accurate than he in the National Football League. With the wrist problem he has and with the lack of mobility in that wrist, he must have lanes, and he must be able to set up properly to make accurate throws. Freddie Joe Nunn prevented him from doing that.
White really struggled in preseason, 41%, no touchdown passes and 4 interceptions.
Doesn't mean it's preseason. Who cares, right?
That's what Paul Hackett said. 2nd and 10. What is he going to say? That's the 32. White on a pitch, rolls out to the right. Cosby on the catch, and a first down for the Cowboys. Carl Carter on the stop. Dallas intends to use Cosby more as a receiver this year, and that's his first catch of the game.
Well, with Sherrard out with a broken leg, the offense being built around he and Walker. Cosby last year was really kind of a forgotten tight end after making the Pro Bowl in '85, but the offense that they're running now is one designed, or they're trying to get the ball more and more to Walker since he's back. But Cosby, according to Hackett, should have a better year than last year. We're going to really get him involved in our passing.
Rod Sadler, a rookie from Texas A&M, is in for Freddie Joe Nunn at left end. Good fake to Herschel Walker, and Cosby is interfered with by Leonard Smith. And that was an obvious pass interference call. He was all over his back.
Crossing routes and
defensive pass interference, number 45, first down.
now Leonard really can't complain here, because this is just a terrible job. He should have really just let Cosby catch it. He wasn't going to get more than 2 yards, but as you can see, he's all over his back. And if he'd simply let him catch it, 2 yards as it is, they get a first down out of that. So it was just poor judgment on his part to go in and hit Cosby early. It's a Louisiana guy right there.
You know them all.
Not many of them play pro ball from down there.
First and 10 now at the 46 of the Cowboys. 3:22 on the clock in the first half. Dorsett, cutback, nifty move, and Dorsett comes within 1.5 yards of first down. Freddie Joe Nunn back in the game for the Cardinals, makes the tackle. Dorsett, arthroscopic surgery on both knees last January, and people will always question his durability, but even though he's small, he has hung in there and has avoided big injuries.
They've been questioning him for years as whether or not they thought that he could handle the punishment 12th year, 11th year. He's been doing it year in and year out, and he's not that bigger guy, but he's a tough little wrestler.
Steve Albert, another rookie defensive lineman for the Cardinals out of the University of Washington, is in for Mark Duda. And now the Cowboys call their first timeout. They have 2 left. St. Louis just has 1. And that comes with 2:40 remaining in the first half. Tom Landry with a new 3-year contract. A lot of people thought that maybe he decided he had enough, and that apparently is not the case.
The reasoning behind that, he said simply the excitement of bringing a team back is the thing that thrills and makes coaching so much fun. And he felt that this team within the next 3 years would be a team that he could, with good drafts, get them back to the level that the Cowboy organization and the city of Dallas, their fans, are accustomed to seeing play on the football field. And so that was the reason for signing, and he did it early wherever he could get all the questions out of the way. Wasn't going to wait till the season's over with.
While we have the timeout, we want to remind you, next Saturday at 2:30 Eastern Time on CBS, 2 of the winningest coaches in college football. Vince Dooley of Georgia, Danny Ford of, how do you pronounce it?
Well, it's pronounced Clemson, but if you're from Georgia and South Carolina and in the South, then that's Clemson. That ought to have a P in it somewhere, because all my friends are from Clemson. Clemson Tigers.
Death Valley, where the Clemson Tigers play.
Clemson.
2:30 Eastern Time. Georgia, Clemson. And next Sunday, we'll be in Chicago as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they're off to a great start, beating Atlanta. Go against the Bears, Washington, Atlanta, and the rest of the group. And most of you will see the Dallas Cowboys against the New York Giants at Giant Stadium in the second game of our doubleheader. It all starts with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern Time. Second down and 2 at the 46-yard line. Dorsett has the first down to the Cardinal 40, and Lonnie Young making the stop.
Dick, one of the things that, as you look at Lonnie Young, Jim Erkenbach, the offensive line coach for the Cowboys, brought to them was a new blocking scheme, which is a banger-type offensive line where they zone block and they engage and drive their people off the line of scrimmage. And no more of this trapping and fancy pulling. There's those guys. It's just straight ahead, zone blocking, the mistakes are minimized, and you're able to get in and power these guys out.
Seems to be the order of things these days after what the Giants have done with their offensive line. And the whistle blows before the play got underway. The 2-minute warning is in effect. So the Redskins have beefed up their line. The Cowboys have done that too. So Danny White will go to the sideline to talk things over. Our 2-minute warning is in effect, and we'll be back.
Yo, bud, I saw you, Lonnie Young, but I was in.
You got to change. No, they changed. You stay with what you're doing.
Yeah,
you did it right. Yeah. No.
Oh, that's all right.
Okay. Yeah. You did right.
Yeah.
You did right. No, you did right.
Hey.
It didn't matter. It's just the whole line. When you got to it, it's all right. No sweat. You did right. So you did exactly right. You can't change. It's like changing.
Well, yes. Well, I tell you, there really has been nothing to draw on the board. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, sure do.
Well, is that a problem that you see in this first half?
No.
Passing motion?
But it's interesting, the risk. So he can do this.
Okay.
He can't do this.
Yeah.
Blitzing might be something we want to do.
We're back here at Busch Stadium. The 2-minute warning just about history. The score tied 3-3. By the way, the Cowboys have 3 players not dressing today. The rookie Kelvin Martin from Boston College, Victor Scott, and Timmy Newsome, along with the injuries. Mike Sherrard, very tough injury for the Cowboys, a real big gun offensively, and of course Tony Hill no longer there.
Well, they built their offense around him. And then when you lose what you built your offense around, you've got to start over from scratch. It's just something they weren't counting on.
First and 10 Cowboys on the Cardinal 40. White going to Renfro, makes the catch, and a first down at the 27. Carl Carter, and that's what Mike Renfro does best.
Well, he's a medium-range pass receiver. He runs down 12, 15 yards. He's excellent at reading linebackers and safeties in proportion to where he's going, and he slows down, and he allowed himself to get a lane between himself and White, the quarterback, and Danny got it right to him.
Gain of 13. Clock running, nearly a minute and a half to go. First and 10 at the 26 of St. Louis. 3-3 to score.
Blitz. Now he audible.
And the Cardinals come out of it. White has Cosby. Cosby stopped at the 25, picked up only a yard or so. Leonard Smith and Anthony Bell both in there.
See, one of the hazards you have is we got a timeout. One of the hazards you have as a quarterback when you recognize blitz is that when you audible, you have to understand they're going to change the defense. And if you're in man coverage blitzing and I see as a quarterback, I need to audible to a pass that's going to be to a zone, because 9 times out of 10, when you audible, they jump into a zone.
Cowboys call a timeout. Each team has 1 left with a minute and 12 seconds remaining in the first half. So after the audible and the changing defense by the Cardinals, the Cowboys managed to get a yard.
Right. Did you notice that Noga threw his hands up and he said, off with the blitz, off with the blitz. And when you get out of a blitz, you automatically go to a zone because it's the safest thing to go into. Danny White saw that. He audibled. They audibled with it. I would say so far, Dick, that Danny White's had a pretty doggone good first half.
I would say, and we talked about his injured wrist. He has completed 11 of 15, and he seems to have gotten, well, I was going to say decent protection, although he's been sacked 3 times, once on a safety blitz.
Yeah, but the main thing is the wrist is holding up. He doesn't seem to be affected by it as far as his confidence is concerned, which is really the key here.
Second down and 8 for the Cowboys. Cosby is set out to the left. Danny White has Herschel Walker. Cuts inside, and Walker will have another first down for the Cowboys inside the 15. Leonard Smith makes the stop. Cowboys line up in a hurry with under a minute to go.
2-play offense. First play's called. Line up again. The second play's called.
Gain of 10 on that play. They're on the 14 now. The Cowboys first and 10. Low snap from center, and White gets hit. They'll try to protect the wrist. Anthony Bell made the stop, and the Cowboys get to around the 11-yard line. And now the Dallas Cowboys have called their last timeout of the first half. It'll be a second down and 7 at the 11-yard line.
David, 30 seconds.
Yeah, you got to count me into those 30-second spots, boys, even if it's 5 seconds. No, I didn't. No. I'm going to do coming up at halftime, coming around quickly. A reminder that coming up at halftime on the NFL Today, Brent Musburger and Dick Vermeil with scores and highlights, and also Jim Nantz will have a U.S. Open update. That's all coming up at halftime. Terry, the Cowboys out of timeouts right now. Second and 7 on the 11 of Cardinals.
Well, second and 7, 36 seconds left. The thing you have to do is throw the football into the end zone. If you're going to throw that way, if it's incomplete, then the ball's dead. You come back and you line up and you do another play. If you throw it outside and you're kept inside with no timeouts, then that's it. Half is over.
So they got to get the ball downfield.
Into the end zone.
White does just that, and he overthrows Thornton Chandler. It'll be third down. Now 32 seconds on the clock.
A real aid for the Cowboy offense is when they send their men in motion, if someone runs with that person, that indicates to White right off the bat that it's a man coverage. If no one runs with the guy in motion, that tells Danny White it's zone. Send his man in motion, no one ran with him, so he knew he had a tight end down the middle over the linebacker's head. He just threw it too high. You probably knew that.
Well, I didn't want to, I didn't want to brag.
I'm glad you didn't.
Third down and 7 now at the 11. No touchdowns yet in this one, just a pair of field goals.
Zone.
Danny White going to Banks. One of the Cardinal defenders fell down, and that was Cedric Mack, but Banks couldn't handle it. The ball thrown away, and it'll be fourth down. And with 28 seconds to go in the first half, the Cowboys will try to get 3 points and take a lead.
Danny trying to anticipate where Banks was going to be. Actually, Danny didn't realize that he had more time than he had. If he could have waited another second, he could have laid it right in there because Banks was coming wide open.
So here is Roger Ruzek, who, by the way, was cut and re-signed, and an ankle injury forced him to come up with a new style. And it's worked for him. This is a 29-yard attempt. Holding the Karur. And the kick is good, and the Cowboys take the 6-3 lead. 25 seconds to go. A 29-yard field goal by Ruzek. It's a kicker's game.
Let's do a whirl of good for your confidence, knowing that you have to change your style after being cut and brought back. Guys made 2 field goals though in the first half.
He kicked the 2 longest field goals in preseason for the Cowboys, 38 and 43 yards. And Rafael Septien had been the longtime kicker for the Cowboys, and they brought in Ralph Benirschke, ex-San Diego kicker, and that didn't work.
You know, Dick, it's amazing because we talk about kickers and their psychic, but I always thought there were plenty of kickers. You can never run out of kickers, but believe it or not, they're hard to find. Rusick cut, brought back. Septien was outstanding kicker. He was released prior to training camp, and they've had a hard time getting a replacement for him. Maybe this guy's the answer.
There is the drive, and the Cowboys with a 70-yard drive. They went 76 earlier for their first field goal, and they chewed up 6 minutes one time and 5 the other.
Well, field goals are nice, and I'm sure Tom Landry and Hackett and Danny White and the entire offensive unit say, hey, we'll take 6 points, but you make those types of drives, 76 and 70 yards, you really want to come away with touchdowns, not field goals.
Ruzek will be kicking by Sikahema and Derek McAdoo. There's Sikahema. 25 seconds to go. The Cardinals still have 1 timeout left. And this kick bounces on the 1 and is out of bounds at the 1, and so the Cardinals will be able to take it at the 35. Cowboys have had the ball for almost 18 of the 30 minutes this half, and so when you add it all up, Terry, with the great ball control and 2 long drives, you're right. 6 points is not really good enough.
Well, they've demonstrated the ability to move the football, mixing it up, getting it White, getting it to various receivers. Dorsett's running well, Walker's running well, but the bottom line is you have to score touchdowns, and they haven't been able to do that, so they can't be totally satisfied, although they are moving the football.
All right, 25 seconds to go, 1 timeout, and you got the ball at the 35. Lomax has to get some good real estate, I would think, first down.
And he probably will get zone coverages, backs will drop real deep, and there'll be big holes over the middle, and if he has time, look for him to go to Green over the middle.
Throw movement, and the question is, did Gene Chilton move first and force the Cowboys to go?
Well, Tootie Robbins, 63,
Number 74 on the offense.
is out now, and so Chilton, who is a backup tackle as well as a backup center from Texas, he's in there, hasn't played, and so he's a little nervous. First game, offside.
There's Chilton.
Big Gene Chilton.
Part of the last 5 games at right tackle a year ago. First and 15 from the 30. Lomax to Green, and And Green is hit immediately, will have the first down. Make that J.T. Smith and not Green. Bates hit him hard, and now the Cardinals, clock running, have 10 seconds to go. They may be forced to call a timeout.
Only has one
And they had to either call the timeout immediately, but they had hoped to get off a play first, and it didn't work. They're out of timeouts now.
See, what Neil Lomax is trying to do was conserve his timeout to get into field goal range and use his timeout there. What happened was, since his team didn't get set, he lost 8 more seconds on his 2-minute drill. Cost him 8 seconds, which could really be 2 plays if in fact they can get the ball on the perimeters and get the ball out of bounds. So he wasted 8 seconds waiting on his team. Now he's lost his timeout, got no timeouts left, and now he's got to get the football out of bounds. Because if he hits over the middle now with only 5 seconds left, I mean, you know, what do you got?
Well, with 5 seconds left, either he's got to get a score or get a penalty on a long pass to set up a field goal.
Well, how many times, Dick, have you seen the old Hail Mary with 3 wide receivers on one side and throw it up in there and let it bounce around like a volleyball? Good, thank you. Help me. Thank you. Help me. Bounces into your, you know, in your receiver's hands, you get a touchdown. I never ran that play, by the way.
You didn't have to.
Well, we certainly needed it the last few years. I can
but
promise you that.
For the most part, you're always on the 10.
Oh, you're too kind this first game. Huh? Where's the real Dick Stockton?
Hey, I was with you when you started out.
69.
Yeah. Three River Stadium, first game ever played there.
Saw you coming out of that alley staggering. I said, yeah, I know that guy. I'm too kind.
You're too kind. All right, Lomax has very few options right here with 5 seconds remaining. And the Cowboys going deep. They send 3 men back, way back. And Lomax goes short, tipped, incomplete with no time remaining. And that'll do it for the first half. Everson Walls tipped the ball, intended for Novacek. The Dallas Cowboys lead the St. Louis Cardinals at halftime 6-3. In a game in which the defenses have dominated, the Cowboys have had 2 lengthy drives but have stalled with a chance to score. 76 yards on one drive, 70 on the other, and they only could net a couple of field goals. And the Cardinals' big effort came on the first series, and all they got was a 3-pointer. So we'll have scores and highlights, and we'll be back with you at Busch Stadium. Halftime in St. Louis. 2 NFC East teams. And CBS Sports coverage of NFL football will continue after this message and a word from your local station.